Hello friends and enemies, welcome to or back to Happy For Now. It's me, Isabel, here with a fun little new video I want to start doing. Since I haven't been doing the themed vlogs with these kinds of books, I thought we would do kind of a occasional check-in. That is my bonkers book check-in / like the bonkers books I want to read. So, as y'all know, I am a big fan of those books that aren't just monsters, but give me the weird thing. I always want the weird thing. I can't help it. They're fun. It's always a good time, right? So this is all about that. I only have a couple that I've read recently, but I also have some others to talk about that I want to read that I just picked up for free during Stuff Your Kindle Day. Also, most of them are on KU as well, so don't worry. You didn't like miss out if you didn't get them on Stuff Your Kindle Day. If you're unfamiliar, in years past, I've released around holidays themed videos with like the bonkers books that fit the theme of Easter or Santa Claus or the Grinch last year, etc. Weird shifters, all those things. And I love reading these books because sometimes I treat them as like kind of a palate cleanser. They are a palate cleanser, honestly, because you read one of these and you walk away like, okay, cool, I read that. I did read that. And you know what? Now I can read anything else and it is going to be a wonderful time because it wasn't that bonkers romance I just read. But yeah, if you aren't aware, because we just started this so you wouldn't be aware, Bree over at In 11 Words and I are doing live read-alongs for our members of these books. We thought about doing them publicly, but I just don't want an author to find it and like get upset at anything we say. So we basically read a set amount of chapters in a sprint, and then we talk about those chapters and keep going until we finish the book. So we did one recently, and that'll be the first book I talk about because I feel like it's kind of the popular one right now. It's going around everywhere and it's wild. And that book is Stuffed by Sylvia Morrow. Yeah, I followed her on TikTok and she followed me back and I was like, hi. I no longer trust pillows. This is one that I think is not for a novice bonker book reader. I feel like this one, you kind of have to be a little bit experienced in reading these books. I think you need to have some familiarity with just like how bonkers it can be. But also, I don't know that anything will ever prepare you for this book. This does follow our heroine who is touch repulsed by people, doesn't want to be touched by them, has germ phobia, like intense OCD habits, and her pillow, and a weird anime reference. A really weird anime reference. I'm not going to say the anime reference here because I don't want to spoil it. Because if you haven't read it and you want to read it, I feel like it's some fun reveals. But through some play magic, we'll call it, her pillow manages to garner enough life power to turn into a humanoid pillow. It was weird. It was a time. It was almost terrifying. But for every moment I was like slightly freaked out, I was then also laughing like 2 pages later because it was the epitome of bonkers. And this is why I read bonkers books, okay? And I won't prioritize them over other kinds of books necessarily, but sometimes I need a book that I just know for a fact is going to make me go, what? How does that work? And or just like have a very like visceral reaction to what is happening on page in a way that I just didn't expect. And on that note, the other bonkers book I read recently is Seduced by the Pumpkin Spice Latte, which I think on Bree's channel, and my members, I'll probably send the link to as well, we'll be reading live with some people voicing it potentially at some point. This is 13 pages. This is one that I don't even think I yelled what. I just made this face the entire time I read it. I was so confused. It went nowhere I was expecting. And I really want to see certain people I know's reaction to reading that book because I feel like it would be very funny because it doesn't go places you think. That latte does not become humanoid, okay? So that is just like bonkers banana pants in like the weird way and 13 pages also. So like you're just gonna have a fun time reading it. I have a vlog where I read it recently and I just honestly, this kind of spurred on my like, I need to get back to my bonkers books as like palette cleansers again phase because they're just so bonkers and I love them so much for it. And then last but not least is my like least weird bonkers book that I think you should read that I've read this year, and that's Exodus 2030. I think this is, it may not currently be available, but it should be back up soon. There's actually a new cover, which I'll put up here for it, that is stunning. This is an angel romance, and it is like the biblically accurate angels, which means like 3 eyes, just a lot going on, which happens to also be my favorite kind of angel, because I don't know what it is about the biblically accurate angels, but they crack me up. Like, I just think it's the funniest thing ever that they were like, yeah, this. Like the sketch, Google it if you've never seen them, the drawings from back in the day. Oh my god, they're amazing. I'm obsessed. But yeah, I love a biblically accurate angel with like this, just all sorts of stuff. There's just a lot happening. And Exodus 2030 is just that. He's helping, our main character is helping repair a church with another main character who is questionable, we'll say. And our one helping repair the church is also a sex worker. This is a trans romance as well. And it's just so fun. Like, it's a fantastic read. I would revisit this book. Like, this is one that I would actually reread, I feel like. Whereas a lot of the bonkers books, I'm like, I don't need to reread this. I might reread, like some I would reread, but this is like for sure one I would reread. Because I just think it was fantastic. I think the storytelling in this was really good, while also giving me like full on like bonkers book vibes, which again, one of my favorite things. And this is beyond, in my opinion, just like a monster romance also. Like, these bonker books are above a monster romance. Like, this is just like, you have to suspend every single ounce of belief you have and know that these books are going to be absolutely bananas. And that's what makes them fun. So my TBR, I thought I would share. I just have a couple picked out right now. And these are probably all the ones Brie and I will be reading together with y'all on sprints, if you're members. This is not a pitch to join, by the way. This is how I'm keeping my list, is that we're doing these live, and it's the best thing ever because I keep finding them and sending them to Brie, and we're like, yes, that one. First up, I have Monster Mash by Latrexa Nova. This is an erotic tongue-in-cheek BDSM Halloween story. TAF, I don't know what that means. And she's decorating her house on Halloween night, and her eyes behold an eerily sexy sight. For my monster decorations were aroused and began to rise, and suddenly, to my surprise, we all mashed. Yeah. I am really, really excited for this one. This sounds just bonkers bananas enough for me that I'm just like, yes, please. I need this in my life. But yeah, I'm really excited to read this one. This is honestly possibly one of the two that I'm most excited for. But I also have an author in here that like I adore and can't wait to read more from either. And I've talked about previous years on my channel. Next we have That's Unhinged by Vera Valentine. This one is about a door, and danger comes knocking, and the door has been watching her and protects her. And I became so sold on this book when I saw Vera post a snippet of the book's audiobook that's happening, and there are door noises. And I said, I need this. Listen, if you're gonna do it, commit. And I trust Vera Valentine to commit, because she also has Squeak, which I DNF'd and I kind of might revisit at some point, which is like a balloon animal Omegaverse. And like I said, if there's one thing Vera can do, it's unhinged. Unhinged, like the book title. If there's one thing I trust Vera to do, it is bonkers books that I still like find some kind of enjoyment in. Some. Next we have one that I don't know how bonkers it's gonna be, but it's the weirdest shifter I've seen to date that is in like a family I recognize. So this is called Snow Red. And this is two Siamese cat shifters. This is a shorty also. Like, most of these are short, and I think that's why, like I said, I consider them palette cleansers. But yeah, this one's Siamese cats. And what? Siamese cat shifters? I know about the Honey Badger shifter book, but like, I feel like I've not read a book or heard about a book with like house cats as shifters. So I was just like, I have to know. I have to know. Next we have her pastry shifters. And as far as I can tell, they are baked goods that shift into men. Or the men shift into pastry. Something around pastry is happening here, and I can't wait. I cannot wait to read this. And then we have an author I adore. And if you, like me, like these kinds of books and have not read this author yet, you need to fix it. Okay, she's got everything. She has got it all. everything you could want. I've read 2 books from her so far, and I honestly need to read more. But basically every Rianne Burnett book I would like to read. In particular, recently I got Made to Tantalize, an alien tentacle romance, Slippery and Satisfied is the series. The series is called Slippery and Satisfied. This one, she gains access to like a restricted lab, and oh, what did she find but a tentacle alien? Rianne Burnett is one that I started last year, and I honestly would love to like journey through more of her backlist sooner than later. I read Sated on the Beach in particular first by her, and this is a merman romance, and she like ditches her friends to bang this merman, and it's fantastic. But yeah, she has it all, literally. There's one where like they summon a demon devil being. There is, that's like Passion at Hell's Gates, I think. Listen, if you want a bonkers book and you don't know where to go, I feel like you can't go wrong picking up a Rianne Burnett, because they are just like funny and good. Like these are all like, they are good. Like I have enjoyed them. So highly recommend. Also, they're kind of like unputdownable. And then last but not least is one that I want to read, but it's too long to do a live read along for, I feel like. And also like, I just feel like it's so long, and I don't know that it needs to be as long as it is. That is All He Wants for Christmas is a Fingerling. This is an paranormal wolf shifter with a twist. That twist is he's a potato. One of them is a potato shifter. And I've watched people live tweet this book, and every time I'm more confused. It's 180 pages also. So like maybe I'll just do a vlog where I read it at some point. But I just feel like this is one of those books that I don't understand how we got the idea, where it came from, why we decided this was the choice to make. I also feel like everything I've read about this book and seen about it, I just get more confused. Because I think there's like, the way they like handle bad potatoes is potentially that they eat them and sacrifice them. Like, isn't that cannibalism? I don't know. I need to read this one at some point, but like I said, I'm like half terrified of it for some reason. And maybe it's because also in my head I feel like it can't be as bonkers as they say, but at the same time I don't know how it's not. So there's that. But yeah, that's my bonkers TBR. I would love to know what bonkers books are on your TBR. Again, I would call these books above a monster romance. We're looking for books that are like really, really bonkers here. Like, I want to know those ones. Not just like, oh, it's a different monster. Like, it's got to be like a wolf and a potato. You know, like things that make you go, why did someone write this? And not just Chuck Tingle type books. Because like Chuck Tingle's a gem. We adore Chuck Tingle here. And that's like a different style of story than this also. So yeah, I would love to know if you have any bonkers books you love and or recommend to me. Because I'm always looking to add to this list. And I'll be back at some point with the next roundup of them. Probably once I've read like 5 of them. But yeah, okay, if you don't do any of that, leave me a potato emoji and a wolf. Oh my god, I still can't believe that book's real. Anyways, do that in the comments. I'll have links to all these books for you down below, as well as links to my friend anywhere on the internet, and I will see y'all in just a few days in my next video. Bye!
Already packing, come with me. I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know. About to see the world in action, what we can be, life with no distractions. We'll get away, this is what we waited.